Now, for the purpose of this video, I decided to focus on XXXTentacion, the rapper and the artist. And this video is only going to focus on his rise as a musician to the very heights of the music industry. Now, don't worry, I'm definitely going to cover some of the more controversial aspects of his life and story in later videos. But after speaking to a few friends of mine that are more casual XXXTentacion fans, I got a strong impression that the thing that people really know him for is all the BS and controversies that he was involved in when he was alive, or of course his tragic passing. And so I felt that after doing a whole bunch of research, the thing that was really missing out there was a video that just focused on the art that X created while he was with us, and an analysis as to exactly why this music meant so much to his ravenous fan base. So the first question is, how did X end up being the talented musician that we all got to know him as? Well, despite having had a difficult upbringing, it was actually his aunt and his mother that had encouraged him to pursue music. Growing up, he'd spent time in the choir and the chorus, honing those singing skills that would later come in handy, and eventually X ended up in a recording studio arranged by his mother, where he recorded his very first song, News/Flock.
I dropped my first song before because of my mom or some shit. I wrote this song called News/Flock. It was my absolute first song.
A track that X put out in 2013 when he was just 15 years old. And it's an interesting track to go back and listen to if you haven't heard any of X's early stuff. It showcases a very traditional, old school boom bap style beat and verse. And X has a really impressive flow for somebody his age. In places it even reminds me of a young Eminem. Now, this track News/Flock was originally intended to be part of X's first mixtape that he had called Mona Lisa, but that tape never dropped. What did end up getting released was X's very first mixtape, XXX Unmastered, which he put out in March of 2014. Now, tracking the earliest stages of X's musical history has always been difficult, because early in his career, X made it a habit to constantly delete the old songs he'd released, with many of the early tracks from this stage in X's career still going undiscovered to this day. But luckily, amongst some of the many tracks that still circulate today were some of these deleted songs off of these early projects. So if you're a big X fan based on the music that you've heard now, I would definitely recommend you go back into the vault and listen to some of the first songs that he made to get an idea of exactly how X the artist developed creatively over the years that followed. And one of the most impactful of these early tracks was the GTA-inspired Vice City, which got a lot of love on SoundCloud when it was released in March 2014. Once again, Vice City is another track that is surprisingly boom bap in its tone. And despite getting some heavy old head vibes from listening to it, hearing X rap like this serves as an early hint to his multifaceted genre-bending microphone skills that we would see later on in his career. Beyond Vice City, there's also songs like Molly, which to me had big Odd Future vibes to it. Hardly surprising when you consider the fact that as early as 2016, X was describing his own style as Earl Sweatshirt meets Biggie Smalls.
Who were you rapping like?
I sounded like Earl. I sounded like Earl mixed with like Biggie, mixed with like Pog, like.
And then we've got tracks like Dead, which seem to showcase the seeds of the ear rape, overly bassy sounds that we would later come to love on tracks like Look at Me. So apart from the unmastered XXX EP, the first cohesive project that X released was the EP Ice Hotel that dropped in May 2014, which featured the spacey track Fuck alongside Ski Mask the Slump God, a track that had been updated in various versions over the year, and apparently the song itself that X described as the moment when he knew his SoundCloud was taking off.
When your music start popping off on SoundCloud, when you start to get this following going?
As soon as we dropped Fuck.
X followed up Ice Hotel with his next EP called The Fall in November 2014. This was a 5-track project which he described on Twitter as the idolization of depression. Now, this was a much more singing-based and emotional affair that sounded a lot more like Adele Tentacion than X, and a very surprising departure from all of the boom bap old head type songs that we had heard up until this point. Though it's worth mentioning that the tracks White Girl and Fuck a Bitch Face are much closer to the grungy party anthems that we would later come to expect from X. In fact, with this in mind, it's easy to understand why so many people have struggled to get into X's music, because X had a range like nobody else in the rap game, and he actually described himself as having no genre at all when he was interviewed on No Jumper.
The versatility, I have no genre. Like you'll probably see me drop a fucking song with a country singer.
Now, X followed up The Fall with another sad and heartbreaking EP called Rare in December 2014. The 3-track project features songs that have been described as some of the darkest of X's career, including the popular interlude A Message to Tina Belcher, which saw X putting all of his depressing and suicidal thoughts into a monologue over a spooky string riff and layers of ambient vocals. And he continued to follow up these deep, introspective glimpses inside of his own head with his next project, Heartbreak Hotel, releasing in February 2015. That project had the Teeth interlude, an apparent track about X's breakup that was supposed to serve as a direct sequel to A Message to Tina Belcher, a track which X since went on to delete. And that project included another depressing suicidal anthem called Skin. You know, just in the unlikely case that you still had anything to live for after listening to X's music. But if anything, I found something really interesting having gone back and listened to all of X's music in chronological order. Because where his solo music begins to resemble a dark cloud of depressing emo rap tracks, fortunately on the other side of things he continued to collaborate with his bestest buddy Ski Mask the Slump God, who he'd met in Juvie of all places. And as X's career goes on, all the jump up, lit, party, mosh, trap bangers begins to live on the collaborative projects that he does with Ski and the members only clique that they form, whereas his solo music remains very introspective, emotional, and non-traditional in hip-hop terms. And it's probably for this reason that so many people have gotten the wrong idea about X having listened to only a few of his songs. And so in 2015, X drops a collaborative mixtape with Ski Mask called The Nobodies, following that up with the arguably more important Members Only Volume 1 in April 2015. And while the Members Only crew started out with just the two of them, over time more members joined and they dropped the excellent sequel, Members Only Volume 2, in October of 2015. But meanwhile, on the solo front, X's career is going to overdrive and he's dropping music like nobody's business. In May 2015, in response to the tragic killing of Michael Brown, X releases the song Riot. In November, he dropped the fan favourite song I Love It When They Run with Ski Mask and Young Bands, that was intended to live on a since-canned project called It Will All Be Over Soon, which included a number of tracks which eventually found other projects to live on. Some songs were pushed over onto an EP called Kids, which was also cancelled, and other songs were pushed onto a project called It Wasn't Enough, an EP released in March 2016. It Wasn't Enough featured the popular track I Spoke to the Devil in Miami and He Said Everything Would Be Fine, and the track I Love My Clique Like Kanye West, which is more of a jump up banger, a welcome relief on what is yet another very depressing X project. But fortunately for X, he would have something to cheer him up along the way, because on December the 30th, 2015, the producer of one of his tracks called Rojas would upload a song they made together called Look At Me to SoundCloud, and it would be that song that would end up changing their lives forever. Now, despite dropping at the end of 2015, the song Look At Me wouldn't make any noise in the music industry for over a year. So throughout 2016, XXXTENTACION continues his grind, unaware that he had already recorded and released what would be his breakout hit. So he keeps on grinding in 2016 and begins to rack up small wins along the way, landing his first ever on-camera interview, the now infamous No Jumper appearance, in April 2016. And the same day this interview drops, he also drops the impeccably named EP Willy Wonka Was a Child Murderer, a project influenced much more by indie, metal, and punk rock than any of his previous work. A project which is in no way up my street, but I can certainly recognise just how much talent it takes to be able to make music this diverse, so salute to X. And from here, the months that followed would be very turbulent for a young X. He quit his job at a call centre to finally pursue music full time. He moved in with fellow Florida rapper, and one of my personal favourite takeaway options, Denzel Curry. So with everything in place to take maximum advantage of this huge career opportunity that had come along, X is unfortunately derailed in August 2016 when he is arrested and charged with robbery and assault with a deadly weapon. After all, it turned out the young XXXTENTACION was apparently a master of home invasion, apparently being so comfortable invading other people's homes that he himself tweeted out that his first robbery, he even stopped in the kitchen to make a goddamn sandwich. And from here, the trouble was not over yet, because in October of 2016, he was arrested once again, this time on charges of false imprisonment and aggravated battery of his girlfriend. And unfortunately, there would not be any bail right away. X would go straight to jail, no passing go and no collecting 200 clout tokens. And in jail, he would sit until March 26, 2017, when he was eventually released on bail. But the thing is, whilst he was sat there in jail, his music was picking up steam in a big way. He had the likes of ASAP Rocky co-signing him on an Instagram live, where Rocky was wearing sunglasses I can only assume he got out of a Christmas cracker.
Do I fuck with XXX? Can't keep my dick in my pants. Yeah. My bitch don't want me no more. She kicked me out of my room. Yeah. That shit hard, nigga. Fuck yeah. Free my nigga XXX. I can't wait till you come home. Fuck is you talking about?
Part of the reason that X's name and flow had spread so far and wide during this period was due to the fact that in January 2017, Drake's song KMT with Gigs dropped, and many people immediately pointed out that it seemed like Drake had stolen X's flow for the song. That one. Now, once again, I'm not going to get into any of that drama, and I've already made an extended video about the Drake and X feud that stemmed from their flow stealing accusations and ended in wild conspiracy theories about who was responsible for X's passing, so go and check that out if you haven't. But anyway, off the back of these Drake comparisons, it would turn out that having the biggest artist in the world bite your style tends to have the secondary effect of shedding a lot of extra light onto your music. And so off of the back of the KMT comparisons, X's song Look At Me begins to gain some traction. On February 25th, 2017, it debuted on the Billboard charts at number 94 and by April the 22nd, it had peaked at a whopping number 34. Not bad for a new artist. So X finally gets himself out of jail after pleading no contest to the home invasion charges, and he immediately hits the road to take full advantage of this clout-based opportunity. First off, he heads to local Miami radio station 103.5 The Beat and immediately disses Drake for stealing his flow. He also drops a brand new song called Slipknot, and he begins to play much larger concerts with his newfound fame and freedom. Kicking off on April the 7th with a surprise comeback show in Miami, which quickly turns into a riot and has to be shut down by the cops.
Everybody be cooperative so we can get this shit going. We gotta get the mixer on so we can fucking turn the fuck up.
You're not turning up, you're leaving now. Now. You will take everybody out the door now.
But in spite of 12 trying to hold X back, his star continues to rise in the music industry. He had his first big opening slot at the Staples Center in April when fellow victim of Drake's flow-stealing Dram brought him out to perform Look at Me whilst on Kendrick Lamar's Damn tour. I mean, this kid literally got into the crowd at the Staples Center. That's big X energy right there. But X is not done going industry no, because in May, on the 12th, he drops the track Looking for a Star, which is produced by Diplo, once again showing an enormous amount of versatility on the mic, as for the first time we hear X rapping over a poppy dance club style beat, much more suited for Molly in an Ibiza rave than Xans in a warehouse mosh pit. And a week after, that song, along with Look at Me and a handful of X's previously released SoundCloud bangers, are all packaged up on one project and are released in the form of X's first commercial mixtape, the now infamous Revenge Project. And this project was a great introduction for any casual listeners that might have been confused or put off by X's diverse output so far. I mean, this project had so much range, it was a great intro to X's music. It had the big jump-up trap rap songs like Look at Me and Young Brats, but it had plenty of contrast with the likes of Screamo, Anthem King, and so the Revenge Project finally gave X what he needed, a cohesive entry point for mainstream music fans to discover X as an artist and really enjoy his body of work. So Revenge goes 44 on the Billboard charts, and X is finally set up with the best foundation he could possibly pray for to enter the rap game. And of course, off the back of the release of the Revenge mixtape, X goes on a wild Revenge tour. I mean, the Revenge tour was so crazy that thing could be an entire documentary in itself. In fact, if you want to see a whole video on the Revenge tour, DM me on Instagram at TrapLawRoss, hit me with a follow, and let me know that's something you want. I reply to as many DMs as possible, so hit me up, baby. But anyway, on April 28th of 2017, X announces his first nationwide tour, the Revenge Tour. And from the very start, this entire thing was complete carnage. A pretty expected result of X's habit of wilding out at shows to the highest degree in an attempt to give his fans the most memorable experience possible. And I tell you what, if you went to one of these shows on the Revenge Tour, I'm sure that you will not soon forget what you saw. Wi-Fi's funeral got beat up. X got knocked out on stage in San Diego. An audience member got stabbed. X got thrown into a barrier by security. And X famously punched a fan in the face in the audience of a show in Salt Lake City. I mean, this tour was out of control. And unfortunately, before you even knew it, the whole thing was over, because on June the 24th, X unfortunately found out that his cousin got shot and the tour was cut short so he could return home. Actually ending with its final sign-off show in X's native Broward County, a show which was live streamed and mega lit, with X wilding out double hard, at one point hanging off a balcony and rapping upside down, rapping his heavy bars to the audience with a camera strapped to his mic.
You guys want to see something crazy? 3, 2, 1!
I swear this kid is like the Batman of clout. Anyway, combine crazy stunts like that with his ever-growing catalogue of meaningful and lit tracks. As time went on, X continued to cultivate a ravenous fan base obsessed with this mythical musical master. And with the support of those dedicated fans of his, he managed to bag the 10th slot on the XXL freshman list in 2017 with the help of fan voting, securing his place in hip-hop history as one of the most hyped artists of a generation and positioning him to take over the rap game in a very big way the following year.
Obviously, I'm one of the greatest of this generation, the upcoming generation, as far as artistry. So if you didn't pick me, the XXL would have been stupid.